ability to reason and rationalize consists of logic and emotion. There was a research study, I believe, by Chicago University, and they suggested that a second language can be useful in making a logical decision. Say, for example, you're going to book a holiday, you decide to buy a car or change job. It might be useful to push the narrative into a second language to be able to logically and separate the mesh from the emotion. Now, I use the process with my clients under the right circumstance and the right situation to help them with problems. What I do in the beginning, I get to write down on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high. Say, for example, they might be nervous presenting. They might be apprehensive going to an interview. They might be afraid of giving someone a call for a job prospect. And what I do, write 1 to 10 with 10 being high, and I go through this following process in certain situations in the right circumstance. I get to write about the problem in a second language if they've got one, to summarize the concept of the problem in a different language if it's appropriate. If they don't have a different language they speak, or second language, and if they go and learn the context of the problem in a different language, it's quite useful. Now, language is a complex phenomenon. The use of modern technology has helped us to research and understand the process better. Studies suggest that there are brain changes in learning a different language, and by using a second language to talk about the problem, we can engage and nuance potentially some of the emotional reasoning. So separate the reasoning. So we've got our thoughts, our emotion, our behavior. We can sort of separate some of the emotional reasoning around the problem itself. So by using a different language, what we can do is engage in the more rational brain to be able to think more logically. The executive functioning part of the brain, for example, like an orchestra, a conductor conducts all the different instruments and musicians to play music. Now, if the conductor wasn't there, there's a good chance the musicians would probably play, yet they might be out of timing. So I think the frontal part of the brain, and we can sort of be able to emotionally regulate the situation. So executive functioning is involved in planning, in task cohesion, in task completion. So we can evaluate the problem in the prefrontal cortex, the logical part of the brain, which is more systematic rather than the emotion being more unconscious. So what I do, if they don't have a second language they speak, then I get them to go away. They don't have to learn the entire language. They can sort of go away and perhaps choose a softer language, so to speak, and just flesh it out in that context. And then you're engaging and you're stimulating parts of the brain. Research has seen, we've seen that there's research that involves our first language is more automatic, it's more unconscious, it's more limbic, and we've seen a second language tends to engage a different part of the brain. So by different language, we can engage on that more cognitive, the more logical part of the brain. And think about it this way. For example, when you sort of got a pressing problem and you're really emotionally involved in the problem, it's hard to sort of get out of your own head. But if someone comes along and tells you they have a problem of some sort, think of how you advise them. It's a lot easier to dissociate from the actual problem itself. So this is quite useful to do. So what I do is I get to write the narrative, whatever that narrative might be, in their first language. If they have a second language, they can sort of write it down in that and talk about it, or journal it, or both, whatever works for them. If they don't have the second language they speak, then everything they can do is maybe go away and learn some content to frame the problem in a different language and engage that frontal part of the brain and see it more logically and more systematically. Jimmy Petruzzi. Boom.